break on two of our par fours that are really straightforward, a little easier, but they can
You speak from first-hand experience. You've seen it. What do you think those are? I think get in the car, drive up here to two beautiful resorts. And for more on the golf course, hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Golf. Along with Colleen Wolfe, I'm Harry Donahue, and we're in the Poconos again at two beautiful resorts, Shawnee on the Delaware and Woodlock Springs.
Yep, Woodloch, Harry, they have a couple of the most challenging par fives in the area, and it's such a great course. Golf Magazine actually named it one of 2010's best courses to play in Pennsylvania.
And Shawnee on the Delaware is literally a golf resort with a golf course in the middle of the Delaware River. In fact, it splits right behind us, and the golf course is on an island. On the other side is New Jersey, and here at Shawnee Inn, the history, it's 100 years old this year, and people like Fred Waring and Jackie Gleason and Mickey Mantle made this place, well, the place it is even today. We'll be back, Woodlock Springs and Shawnee on the Delaware, next on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf is brought to you by the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. Life's greater in the Pocono Mountains. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where America goes to play. Visit online at phillytomyrtle.com. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, celebrating 90 years.
The Philadelphia section of the PGA of America is celebrating 90 years. Since 1921, the professionals of the Philadelphia section have proven themselves to be the players, teachers, managers, and stewards of the game of golf in the Philadelphia area. They are the experts in the game and business of golf. Please join us in celebrating our 90-year commitment to the game of golf.
In a crowd of light beers, how long does it take to find the Yuengling Light Lager? About that long. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yuengling Light Lager. Rethink your light beer.
And welcome back to Inside Golf from Shawnee on the Delaware with Joe Manley, the head professional. Hi, Joe. How you doing?
Hi, welcome.
Okay, Joe, so much history. Where do we begin to talk and describe what has happened here at Shawnee on the Delaware since back in the early 1900s?
Well, we were born in 1911, so this is our 100th anniversary. There's been a ton of history here. A lot of great golfers have played here, and a lot of big celebrities have played here. Jackie Gleason has played here quite a bit, learned how to golf here. Arnold Palmer met his first wife, Winnie, here.
Met his first wife here?
Yeah.
Do you know the history of that?
Well, he was here for a golf tournament.
Back in, what, the mid-50s?
Yeah, back in the mid-50s or so, and Winnie was here with her dad. And her dad was here in the golf tournament, and they met. And by the end of the weekend, I'm almost positive that he asked her to marry him.
Now, did Arnie win the golf tournament, I wonder? You don't know.
I don't know. I think he might have got a little distracted.
Well, he got a wife out of it.
Yeah,
how about
absolutely.
that? That's amazing. And did I see, too, that Hale Irwin, who played football at the University of Colorado, but of course went on to a pretty good golf career, won the NCAA championship here back in, I think, 1967.
That's correct, yeah.
C.C. Worthington, who was the developer, and his friend A.W. Tillinghast, who went on to become a renowned golf course architect, planned this whole thing out. What visionaries they had back in those days.
Yeah, absolutely. C.C. had this beautiful piece of property, this large island in the middle of the Delaware River that was actually carved out by glaciers. And he had the visionary to hire A.W. Tillinghast, a friend of his, to come out and design this beautiful golf course.
And when you think about it, Joe, back in 1911, you say the 100th anniversary now, there weren't that many people playing golf. I mean, this is a great contemporary resort, let alone back in 1911.
Yeah, it's great. The location's perfect. You know, we're 70 miles from New York City, about an hour and a half from Philadelphia. You know, the vision, like you said, that he had to put this beautiful resort here on this piece of property was pretty incredible.
3 nines, red, white, and blue, and right now we're standing on number 9 of the red course, and we're going to take a crack at it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right. Good ball.
All right, Joe, I got it started down the right side and come back to the middle a little bit, huh? All right.
Nice draw, nice draw.
Thank you. That's better. Nice shot.
Thank you.
A cascading draw here on number 9. Perfect. You know, Joe, we were talking a little bit back on the tee about the fact that this was, well, it is an island, and I can't imagine. What was the land like? Have you seen photographs back in the early 1900s, what Tillinghast had to work with?
Yeah, it was very flat. There were hardly any trees out here at all when we designed the golf course. Yeah, it was, all these trees that you see out here were all saplings in all the old photographs that I've seen. We're really one of the only flat golf courses around. Most of the golf courses up here in the Poconos are up and down. Because we're on an island and because we're in the middle of the river, it's a relatively flat golf course.
That's amazing. All right, we got a couple hundred here to the green. Let me see what I can do. I'll try to keep it as straight as I can, Joe. Well, it's drawn a little bit.
Drawn a little bit, stay away from the path. Okay, just cross the path, but you'll be fine.
Right, a little
About
up and
pin
down.
height.
Nothing.
Up and down, no problem.
I got that. Well, Joe, you got it out here, what do you got, about 135 or so to the hole?
Yeah, about 135, uphill, into the wind a little bit.
How would you describe the size of the greens? I know a lot of the greens up here in the Poconos, some of the older courses, and this certainly would qualify as one of the older courses. You know, the greens tend to be, according to modern terms, small. Where would you say these are?
You know, I wouldn't classify them as small. You know, we don't have any postage stamp greens or anything like that. We have a good amount of undulation. Tillinghast was pretty famous for that. And most of the greens are pretty well bunkered.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get it close.
We'll give it a shot here.
Got enough stick, Joe?
Yeah, I think it should be good.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, it's on the dance floor.
Looks like it's pin high.
Yeah, just about.
Rolling back to the hole. Well, Joe, I'm pin high. That's the good news. The bad news is I got a little short side.
Yeah, you're pretty well short side here. You got a delicate little shot ahead of you.
All right. Let's see if I can master Tillinghast and his little mounding he's got going here. I got to land this thing in the absolute right spot.
Go.
Oh, oh!
6 inches farther. 6 inches
well,
farther.
That's why they say come back tomorrow. Well, Joe, let's see if I can, what do you think? This is going to move a little left or right?
A little bit
Coming
left to right, yeah, off the hill.
Downhill and then
back up.
Right into the jar. What do you think, Joe?
Get going. Get there.
Oh, I didn't allow for that uphill.
Great try.
For birdie 3.
For birdie 3.
Hello there.
Look at
Joe,
that.
I think you want to invite me up here more often.
I know.
Let me get this room service for you, huh?
Appreciate that.
Wow, great 3.
Thank you.
You know, I was almost missed it because I'm looking up here at the mountains in the background. Just so scenic and beautiful.
Yeah, it
really is.
It is. We're, like I said, a unique facility. That's New Jersey right there. That mountain range you see is New Jersey.
So that's Jersey.
That's
you ever
Jersey.
try to drive over from Pennsylvania, the golf ball?
When we go to number 4 white, the next hole I'm going to show you, there's a spot behind that green where you can hit a golf ball in New Jersey.
Let's check it out.
Alrighty.
All right, Joe, we have reached that par 3 4th hole here on the red course, correct?
Yes, we have. This is the southern tip of the island. Beyond us, there's not much until you get back towards the water.
It's probably the narrowest part of the island too, I guess.
Yeah, it is the narrowest part of the island. It's only probably about 250 yards from end to end right here.
And beyond the green is the Delaware, and then New Jersey is on the other side.
Beyond that is New Jersey, yeah.
Pretty tight hole.
Yeah, it's a tight little par 3. Green is very, very undulating. There's 3 distinct quadrants of the green, and if the pin is on one and you're on another, you're going to have quite a challenge.
Yeah, but like everything else around here, as picturesque as you would want.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
A nice little arrangement there in terms of where you can put the pin.
Yeah, it's quite the green complex. There's 3 distinct areas where we can have a couple different pin placements, and like I said earlier, if you're on the wrong side, you have an interesting putt ahead of you.
Waiting here, there was a threesome teeing off, and one guy took maybe 2 extra clubs and on the fly in the river.
Yeah, he right over the flag, but he airmailed the green by quite a bit.
Yeah, and it is, well, like I said, it's picturesque, even if you are trying to retrieve your ball from the Delaware.
That's right.
All right, Joe, here we are. This is
number 5 of the red golf course.
Right, and this green, Joe, has some pretty good size to it.
Yeah, this is one of our larger greens and one of our most undulating greens. The pin's down there on the other side, and if you hit yourself up here, you got quite a challenge in front of you.
Now this is one of Tillinghast's original greens here.
Yes, this is an original green.
And you look at this, we're standing in an area where this pin is, we're almost, what, about an 8-foot drop off to the hole.
Absolutely.
And just to give you an idea, I happen to have this ball here, look what happens. That thing just goes down.
Catch a little speed.
Yeah, it's still going.
It'll still go.
So if you're coming up, you want to play the left side of this green and just have it bleed down to the hole.
Absolutely. Don't get yourself stuck up here, though.
Joe, this is par 3, the 9th hole on the blue 9. And as we look back from behind the green, we can see right where those carts are, right in front of that actually, is the tee box.
Yeah, it's the tee box. It's a great hole, especially from the blue tees. You can stretch it out to about 230 yards. And if you're lucky enough to have this be your 18th hole, it's a great closing hole.
So where those golfers are, that's the 8th green, and they come back a little bit, tee off. What is it from back there to clear the area to get it over?
It's about 130 yards from the blue tees to clear the marsh area, and then you can land up in that fairway there. But obviously the ultimate goal is to get on the green. What you don't want to do on this hole is go long, because once you get up here, up above the green, you got a very, very tough chance of getting up and down.
This is almost like a stadium effect, picturesque closing hole for a tournament.
Yeah, it's great. When we have the Shawnee Open, which is a Philly section event up here, this is where all the guys will come and hang out and watch the leaders come in.
Right. Now on this green, one of the larger greens too, unfortunately not as many pin placements maybe because of the slopingness here on this one side.
Yeah, there's not too much. You got short center, short left, and sometimes short right if the supers had a rough day.
Great spot to have a hole-in-one though, huh?
It's a beautiful spot. I've seen 2 hole-in-ones on this very hole.
And you don't have far to go to celebrate.
No, you don't. Right next to the lounge.
Well, Joe, thanks for the tour and the history of Shawnee on the Delaware. This place, I mean, we don't have enough time to explain the history of Shawnee, do we?
No, we got 100 years of history here.
Right, and from Fred Waring to Jackie Gleason, you said Mickey Mantle and the Yankees used to come over here back in the day. This was the spot for a lot of celebrities and a primo resort.
Yeah, it's a beautiful location. It was the spot, and today, 100 years later, it still is the spot. It's a great place for your outings, for weddings. We do everything here, and come on up and see us.
Yep, from 1911 to 2011, and just as nice and as picturesque as ever, Shawnee on the Delaware. Thanks to Joe Manley for being our host, and of course, for more information on Shawnee on the Delaware, you can link up by going to InsideGolf.net. Inside Golf continues in just a moment.
Experience what golfers voted #1 for quality, selection, and affordability. Over 100 different championship courses, including 7 of America's 100 greatest. Indulge in gourmet cuisine, pristine beaches that offer endless activities, active nightlife, and more. It's an easy drive, and affordable nonstop flights are now available from over 25 cities. Start planning your Myrtle Beach golf vacation today and request a free quick quote for the best package rates. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. It's where America goes to play.
Welcome back to Inside Golf at beautiful Woodlock Springs with head PGA professional John Pillar. John, Woodlock is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, and so are you. So tell me a little bit about how you found yourself here and some of the things you've seen change over these past 20 years.
Well, I came here in 1992, and I'm originally from the area, so I had traveled around the country a little bit. Found myself working at a facility in the Northeast and in the Southeast down in Florida in the wintertime. And everybody had informed me about Woodlock. They were building a golf course in '92, and I didn't really want to come back. I figured I could always come back home if everything else failed. And once I got up here and saw the property, I fell in love with it and knew this was the spot for me. And you know, the rest, as they say, is history. I've been here. This is my 20th year, and been an integral part of it, and it's been fun.
What made you fall in love with Woodlock when you first came here?
Well, I think the first thing was, which everyone else will see, is the property, the golf course itself, because that was what I was coming here for. There's 3 separate properties that comprise Woodlock. Woodlock Pines Resort is an all-inclusive family destination resort, and they've been in business since 1958. One of their trademarks is hospitality. We treat each and every guest as if they're company in our own home. A spin-off property would be Woodlock Springs. This is a private residential community We have approximately 400 homes, and the golf course is the centerpiece of our property. We've been here since 1992, and again, we've spun off the trademark of hospitality into this property as well. And our third property, the Lodge at Woodloch, a destination spa, that is now in its 5th year in operation, and it is a luxury destination spa. We have 58 rooms and also a world-class spa, rated one of the top 10 in the world. So we're very fortunate to have 3 separate properties, each one of them giving a separate identity to themselves.
All right, John, which holes are we going to see today? A couple par 5s, right?
Well, the 2 par 5s that we're going to visit are the challenging ones. They're 3-shot holes. We'll explain how to play those. And then we give you a little break on 2 of our par 4s that are really straightforward, a little easier, but they can jump up and get you.
All right, well, let's head over to hole number 3.
Here we are at the 3rd hole at Woodlock Springs, and the 3rd hole is one of our more difficult and challenging holes on the golf course. It's a par 5, measures 575 yards, and one of the mistakes that most of our golfers make here is trying to hit a driver. We have 2 par 5s out here that are actually 3-shot holes, and my recommendation would be hit a 215-yard shot to the top landing area. At that point, once you get to that position, you'll see what's in front of you. Another shot of 170 yards, 160 yards will get you to approximately the 100-yard marker, at which point you're going to have access to the whole location in the green, and you could get a little more aggressive there. But one of the more common mistakes are people try and hit driver, and once you go over the end of the landing area, that brings in a lot of our challenges. We have natural wetlands, we have a stream, and a very, very small landing area. So you want to try and make the 3rd hole a 3-shot hole. It'll start your round off positive, and par on this hole is like birdie on any other hole. Here we are at the 10th hole, another par 5, and as we stated at the 3rd hole, this is a 3-shot hole. You want to hit your tee shot about 225 yards, at which point, once you catch the fairway, your second shot, you can really select any club that you want to hit. As little as a 5-iron or 6-iron, up to a 3-wood. The long hitter can still get to the green in 2. Once you've placed your second shot, you'll see the entire hole in front of you, leaving yourself 100 yards to 80 yards or 125 yards, depending on the length shot. The green is relatively flat, and 5 here is again a good score. Birdies have been had. Here we are at the 12th hole at Woodlock Springs, and as challenging as our par 5s are, we have a variety of par 4s that are very playable, and I will always say they're birdie opportunities. 12th hole measures about 328 yards from the black tees. You can hit driver, you can lay up with a fairway wood. It's really your choice. Club selection is key because this short hole has a 2-tiered green that makes it very challenging. And on your second shot, you're going to need to be precise on what club you pull and that you're on the right level. And as easy as the hole might seem, once you're on the green, if you're on the right level, birdies are an opportunity. If you happen to be on the wrong hole or the wrong side of the green, you might be challenged to 2-putt. The long hitter, they might want to take driver out and try to drive the green. We have a number of hazards that are up there that'll jump in their way if they're a little bit off course, but the smart play would be to lay up off the tee with the 3-wood for the long hitter and then take your sand wedge or pitching wedge into the hole. But a very fun, very playable hole. Well, we've reached the 13th hole here at Woodlock Springs, and again, another very straightforward, short par 4. Big elevation change from tee down to the green. So it plays 350 yards from the gold tees, but actually it's more like 300. Longer hitters, they're going to take the driver out and try and drive the green. My recommendation though, lay up to about the 100-yard marker. Do your subtraction, get your yardages, and it'll leave a nice level lie to a very, very flat green. We've seen a lot of players make eagles. We've seen a lot of players make bogeys. So I would always, again, try and reference people, play the proper tees, take your club selection and move on. But this is a fun hole, dramatic elevation changes and a beautiful backdrop. The unique features that make Woodloch memorable are the natural surroundings, the elevation changes, our mountain vistas. But I think more importantly is, some of our holes, when you finish, you'll remember each one.
As with many of the Pocono Mountain golf courses, you'll find spectacular views, but there's only one Hell's Gate, hole number 14.
One of our most unique and most challenging holes is our 14th hole. It's a par 5, and it has a 220-yard carry over Hell's Gates Gourd. Everybody hits a golf shot there, so I would say, with the exception of our practice tee, that's probably the most used tee that we have on our property. But we've got 5 sets of tees that make golf playable for players of all abilities. Our conditions are immaculate, And as we said earlier, our service is our trademark, and we try and make sure each and every person, whether it's their first time here at Woodlock Springs or they're a resident here, that they have a private country club atmosphere at all times.
Whether you're coming to Woodlock for a round or just some much-needed R&R, here are a few ways to make your trip to the Springs even better.
First-time players, my recommendation, the first thing I would always tell them is get a yardage book. Our par fives, which are very unique, are not all driver holes, so you want to lay up on at least 2 of them. The other 2 you can hit drivers on, but that's one of the features that we get a lot of comments on. The other one is I try and explain to most golfers, stay below the hole. Our greens are very challenging, we have undulation, and the green speeds are moderate, but if you're above the hole, you will be challenged with some very fast putts, and 3 putts are not uncommon.
Well, John, this is our 2nd year here at Woodlock, and it's one of the northernmost courses that we visit, but it's definitely worth the drive.
Yeah, we are not right off the interstate. We are a little bit off the beaten path, but part of our charm is once you do get here, we make you feel at home and as if you were a member at our club for the last 20 years.
Well, we thank you.
Thank you.
We thank Woodlock, and there's more to come on Inside Golf.
Down, and sometimes they don't have that down there. They
So it's more mental and just motivational than it is talent, I think.
It's time light beer got some character. 99 calories, 100% authentic lager. Yuengling Light Lager from America's oldest brewery. Rethink your light beer.
Guests of Inside Golf enjoy dining at Sin Sin, the popular Asian fusion restaurant located on Germantown Avenue in the heart of scenic Chestnut Hill.
And now it's time for Teed Off, brought to you by Yuengling, America's oldest brewery.
Had incredible success.
And welcome back. Inside Golf continues with our Teed Off segment today from the Fireplace Room at beautiful Edgemont Country Club in Willistown, Delaware County. Our guest, old Edgemont guy himself, Ed Doherty, began his pro career here. We have Tony Leodora, who is the host of Golf Talk Live every Saturday morning on WNTP, and from myphillygolf.com, Joe Logan. Gentlemen, potential. In any sport, we see guys that come up at a young age and everybody says, oh boy, can't wait to see what this kid's going to be like in 5 years. Ed, we see it on the Pro Golf Tour. Guys coming out of college, so many great young players, and yet something happens along the way and they just don't seem to make it. That's unrealized potential. You speak from firsthand experience. You've seen it. What do you think goes on?
I think they come out with expectations and they don't want to work for it. You know, you can judge potential on how far they hit a ball, how well they putt, you know, their golf swing, their balance and everything. Nobody ever judges their heart. And I think sometimes when you're coming down the stretch and you get punched in the nose, or they've been the star all their life growing up in junior golf and say high school and college, and all of a sudden somebody's out driving them and they never heard of the guy. That's the test where they have to reach down, and sometimes they don't have that down there.
So it's more mental and just motivational than it is talent.
I think you hit the, I couldn't say that any better than what you just said, Harry. I think it's mental, and their motivation may be lacking a little bit. You know, maybe they think they expect the world to be given to them.
Tony, a little perspective. Give me some names of some people that fit this category.
Well, everybody's going to immediately say Sergio Garcia.
But there have been guys that even had enjoyed the success of Sergio that people thought would have, right?
Yeah, I'm going to throw one other one out there who had incredible success, but not over here. Colin Montgomery. That has to be unrealized potential, because if he won so many times over there, you thought he would win at least once over here.
Came close a number of times in majors, right?
Certainly did. Yeah. Certainly did.
Congressional, and a couple of years ago at Wingfoot.
Yeah.
About Adam Scott.
Mm-hmm. Well, is it?
These are all guys I wish I had their career,
Ed, when
to be honest with you. I mean, so
when you began on the tour, but there was Monday qualifying. There's no more Monday qualifying anymore, right? Guys get either in there based on their earnings and how they're doing that year, or on a sponsor's exemption. And a lot of these young players get these sponsors exemptions because maybe they were an NCAA champion, an All-American coming out of college, and You know, they don't have to sweat like you did on a Monday.
Yeah, well, the PGA Tour basically now is run by agents. I think if you go on the tee, and Joe, you've been on the range, and they got their golf coach, they got their
entourage.
Their entourage, yeah.
Shrink.
You know, and I tell people, when I was 8 years old, my dad was driving me over to the Little League, and I said, boy, I hope I don't strike out tonight. And he looked at me and he says, you know, Eddie, he says, if you think you're going to strike out, you're going to strike out. He says, you got to think better than that. And I always remembered that. So if you got to be a good thinker out there, and you got to have a lot of heart.
But back in the day, you didn't have 3 or 4 guys watching you on the range.
I had Al Balukas. He was always my alter ego. Tony knows that. Joe knows that.
You didn't have a cell phone and messages, or guys with videos watching you on the range?
I just got a cell phone a couple years ago. Boy, Harry, I hope you don't blow this closing.
What am I going to say? Tell me what to say so I won't blow it, Tony.
Well, that's why. You can't go into it thinking that you might. But don't let me put that thought in your head.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. I'm not even going to attempt to close this segment. We'll be back after this.
Teed Off has been taped on location at the historic Edgemont Country Club on Westchester Pike, a private club that caters to the community for weddings, outings, parties, and meetings. Find out more about the club that has hosted everyone from Bob Hope to Ed Doherty at Edgemont.com.
The Philadelphia section of the PGA of America is celebrating 90 years. Since 1921, the professionals of the Philadelphia section have proven themselves to be the players, teachers, managers, and stewards of the game of golf in the Philadelphia area. They are the experts in the game and business of golf. Please join us in celebrating our 90-year commitment to the game of golf.
Colleen Wolf's wardrobe is provided by Adidas, the leader in men's and women's apparel for the athletic golfer.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Inside Golf. You know, I hate to leave both of these places, Woodlock Springs and the Shawnee on the Delaware Inn and Golf Resort. Just too nice to give up.
You know what? It's okay though, Harry, because we're back in the Poconos again next week. So you're going to come right back up here.
Absolutely. Anytime. It's close enough. Get in the car, drive up here to 2 beautiful resorts. And for more on the golf card.
Yes, there is a great golf around card. The Pocono Visitors Bureau has 7 courses. It's a great discount. You can go to our website, insidegolf.net, for more information on that.
And as Colleen said, our tour of the Pocono Mountains continues next week here on Inside Golf. For Colleen Wolf, I'm Harry Donahue. Remember, no matter how bad it's going for you, even if you put one in the Delaware River, don't pick up. See you next time on Inside Golf.
Inside Golf has been brought to you by the Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau. Life's greater in the Pocono Mountains. Yuengling, America's oldest brewery. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where America goes to play. Now fly nonstop on Spirit Airlines. Details at phillytomyrtle.com. And by the Philadelphia Section PGA, celebrating 90 years.